All right, hey folks, this is going to be the demo for Revit Demo 3. So we should have um, 6 walls, some doors. We talked about the arrows, right, and how the arrows are supposed to go outside. And let's go ahead and get some windows in. I am on page 28 in the book. So if you want to follow along with me, it's probably a good idea, especially if you have 2 monitors. It's really nice to have the Word document on one and the Revit on the other. So all the notes are here. I'm going to be going through a lot of, load this and load that and load that and load that. So it's really nice to have the Word document along for the ride. If you only have one screen, then you just have to flash between them. All right. Let's put some windows in. So let's see. Sorry, let me get my stuff ready here. Okay, so we're going to go to architecture and window, and very much like the doors, they only load just a little bit. They do have some. They have some fixed windows. Fixed windows don't move. They basically are just there. And then you have a casement windows, which kind of slide horizontally, and then you have double hung windows, which kind of slide vertically. Some of those are kind of stuff we'll be using later on, but it's kind of funky sizes. All right, so let's go ahead and get some here. So we're going to go to window. We're going to load family. And looks like I'm still stuck back in opening. So we'll come down here and just get back into the Imperial Library. And let's find some windows. All the way to the bottom there, windows. So we're looking for windows fixed arch top. Boy, let's see. Sorry, there's a lot of windows in here. Windows fixed arch top. There it is right there. Right below Windows fixed. Windows, so arch top, really common in the architectural world. We're going to go ahead and open, and they're going to go with the type catalog. We want 36 by 65 and 48 by 78. And again, we're going to hold the control key down to multiple select and hit OK. So that's Windows fixed arch top. Where do I want to put one of those? Let's put one of those. You know what? Let's just keep loading. Okay, they're there, but let's just keep loading. Let's go Windows fixed round top. Windows fixed round top. So this one's kind of a half circle on the top. And we're looking for 24 by 36 and 38 by 57. There's some strange sizes here. Whoops. What I did there is I held the shift key down instead of the control key. There we go, something like that. 24 and 36 and 30. Yeah, that's it right there. Hit OK. And again, it loads them. Now I can place one if I want, or I can just continue loading family. Let's see, the next one is window sliding double. This is probably similar to what you have at home in your bedroom. The sliders are really common around Corona. Single sliding double. Except yours probably maybe or may not have these little dividers in between them. Let's go ahead and bring that in, and let's see. I want 48 by 48 and 60 by 60. Something like that, and hit OK. And see one more. Window double hung double. So load family. Window double hung double. And it looks like we've got 36 by 48. 36 by 46, sorry, 36 by 46 and 68 by 56. Wow, there's some strange sizes in here. 68 by 56. These sizes don't really seem so weird. All right. So we've loaded a whole bunch of window families. You can see now that we have choices. A few more. There's literally thousands of window families out there. So different manufacturers have all kinds of different ones. So this is just a little touch here. All right, what I want to do is I want to put some windows on this east wall over here. I want to put some double hung 28 by 46 windows. So just plain old double hung 28 by 46. Let's go ahead and make sure tag on placement is blue here. Just going to make sure I got it right, 20 by 46. Yep, and I want to put them on this east wall. I'm going to go plunk, and plunk, and plunk, something like that. Okay, so I'm on the bottom of page 28, kind of transitioning there to page 29. And you're going to notice the tags kind of go on whatever side of the window. Don't worry about that so much. These tags can be moved. This is on the wrong side, so I'm going to flip that and then just move the tag over here. No problem. The tags can go wherever it's convenient. Okay, so the windows are in. If I go to the 3D view, let me spin that little guy around here. The windows are in. If I go to the east elevation, the windows are in. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into hidden line. So you can see they're there. You know, these are kind of, this is the way they go. They kind of slide up and down. Okay, so back to the level 1. All right, so I'm on the top of page 30. So here's the dilemma for you. I would like these to be equally spaced along the wall. And they're certainly not right now. The gap here is bigger than the gap here is, I don't know, maybe close to the same size, but who knows, right? If I activate dimensions here, you'll see that, yeah, they're not the same, right? If I pick that and activate the dimensions, they are not the same, obviously, right? You can tell by just visualizing it. And yours may or may not be, but they're probably not. It's very, very unlikely that you were able to put these exactly in the middle. So your challenge, just by wiggle jiggling it, is to make them equally spaced to the outside of the wall. So if I was looking on the outside, they should be equally spaced. Now you can look here, you can tell on mine, you know, not really quite there. You can see the numbers they're a little better, but they're still pretty crappy, right? So I could take this and I could move it down a little bit, but you can see that this would be, I could do this for days and days and never really get it right. So how do I make those perfectly equally spaced along the wall? And there's a trick. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of goof these up a little bit. I want you to do that in yours too. Just kind of just push them around a little bit just so they're crappy like that. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a dimension to let Revit do the work for us. And it's going to go something like this. We're going to go to annotate and we're going to do a dimension. So the dimension, which you've seen a little bit of already, I want this to go from not to the wall center line, but to the wall face. See, can you see it kind of touching right there in the wall face? And I'm going to go to the middle of the window, and then the middle of the window, and then the middle of the window, and then to the outside face of the wall. And just going to plunk out here somewhere. Now you'll notice the dimensions are absolutely not the same size, right? They're all different. 4 foot 10, 14 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet. But if I hit this EQ right here, watch what happens. It equally constrains it. And then if I hit it again, look at that. Bam. So it is absolutely 100% equally spaced. And what's cool about that is if I turn this back to EQ, see how the constraint is there? And I was to move this wall. See how the constraints stay the same? So if I un-EQ'd that, whoops, sorry. If I un-EQ'd that, come on, there we go. Then you'll see that they're all the same. So it's a really cool tool to be able to, you know, make sure that they're all the same. So I'm going to go back here a little bit and just kind of do it again because I did that a little bit fast. All right. So the trick again is annotate, aligned. We're going to choose wall faces. We're going to pick the top. We're going to come down here. You want to see that little blue right there? That's what I want, the middle. This has got to be one string. You got to do it all in one whole thing. You can't stop and then continue. So I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. Now it's going to want to do another one here. I don't want to do another one, so I'm just going to move my mouse up a little bit and just click around here somewhere. And you can see the dimensions and hit that EQ. Boom. And that's it. So now if I was to look at this from 3D view, it looks very good right there. They're very balanced, you know, nice equal spacing in there. And that's what we want to see. If I go to the east elevation, same thing. That looks real nice along that wall. We don't want this kind of funky imbalance. It's not good architecture. When you're done with that, you can go ahead and delete the dimension And it's going to ask if you want to keep the dimensions the way they are and unconstrain them. Let's go ahead and just unconstrain those. And that just takes away the constraints. We did what we wanted to do. So now if I move this window, it would allow me to move it. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Kind of like that. All right, so just a real cool trick. There's a lot of ways we can use that equal constraint to our advantage. We'll be doing that as we kind of plug along here and learn how to use the software. Okay, so I'm on the bottom of page 30, top of page 31, bottom of page 31. That's pretty good there. These are all, don't worry about the keyboard shortcuts. We'll just go through that later. Okay, so let's talk about changing windows. So let's say that there's a design change. And let's say, I don't know, the architect decides that, or the designer or the client decides they don't want this to be a double hung window. They want it to be a fixed window for whatever reason. So, we can just go in there and just change it. And that's really easy. Say, I want you to be a fixed 36 by 48 window. So, maybe something like that. Fixed 36 by 48. And you can do this in any view, by the way. It doesn't have to be in the 3D view. Just for argument's sake there, I'm just going to kind of like that. Now you'll notice that when I go back to the floor plan, the number changed because it's a different window, right? So it's identifying a different window here. This is a 36 by 48 where these guys were the double hungs. So automatic changes. If I go to the east elevation, same thing, the window changed because it changed. All right, so you're going to do that. And let's go ahead and change the head height on this one from 7 feet to 8 feet. The head height is the top of the window. There's a beam up on the top of the window. It's called a header. That's the architectural term. And so when they call head height, that'd be like, the top of the window. And it kind of rests up against that beam that goes above the window. All right. So we got something that looks something like that. So don't worry about it. We can do whatever we want with the windows, and that's what we did. All right. Okay, I'm on the bottom of page 32. Let's take that window, and let's go ahead and right-click Create Similar, and let's go ahead and plunk that window on this wall here and this wall here, just like that. Just give me a couple of them right there. We'll go ahead and put that so it's correct. Remember, the arrows go to the outside, so the glass is on the outside. Let's go ahead and just use this number, put that right there. Yeah, so it looks good like that. Very cool. All right. I do want the head height on these windows to be 7 feet. So that's exactly what they are, 7 feet and 7 feet. So the only one that's a little higher is the one in the middle here. So if we go to the 3D view, we should have something like this. See how they're a little bit lower on the wall there? That's fine. Okay, so we have a 36 by 48 window, a 36 by 48 window, and a 36 by 48 window. When I change the head height, it's what's called an instance parameter. So it just changes this particular window. It didn't affect these other two. Everything on this first screen here is an instance parameter, and anything in the second one affects all of the windows. And we'll talk more about that as we go through. Okay, so there's our scenario. I think for now, I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick save as on this thing. This could be Revit2022demo3, so I'm just going to save it as that. That way, we don't do a whole bunch of work and then have a crash and have a problem. So let's go ahead and save that as Revit2022demo3. Again, we're not done. We're just going to save it just to have it in the bank. So in case something goes wrong, we will lose all our work. Okay, now we've got it locked in. You can see Revit2022demo3 up there. We're good to go. Okay, so here's what I want. I would like to change this window to a different size. I'd like it to be a 42 by 66 fixed window. So if I go over here and I look for a 42 by 66 window, you'll see that there's none there. If it's not there, then, you can't put it in. So we have to have a play for that. So I'm going to show you one way to do it, and then I'm going to show you another way. All right, so first off, let's go ahead and pick the window, And let's go ahead and edit type. And what I'm looking for is a 42 by 66 window. So I want the width to be 42 inches. I'm going to go 0 space 42, little trick there, so you don't have to do 42 inches. And we're going to go 66 inches. Now if I go 66 and I don't do inches, well, here's what happens. See that? So that's feet. So you have it's still hosting in the wall, but you have a 66-foot window in there. So that's not really what we want. So let's go back and edit type and fix that. 0 space 66. So it'll give you a more common sense number. Now, if you want to do it like this, 66, and then hit the, the inch mark there, that's perfectly fine. You'll get the same thing. I like the 0 space better, but however you want to do it. Okay. Now, I just changed the size. Now notice that the window got bigger, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It is now 42 by 66. But here comes the twist, and why the project manager is really mad at the person who did this is it also changed these other ones. I didn't say I wanted to change these other ones, but these other ones, these 36 by 48 windows, are now bigger. And that's a problem. Because what are they going to order? Are they going to order a 36 by 48 window? Or are they going to order a 42 by 66 window? Yeah, this is kind of a problem. So I'm going to go back and fix that. I'm going to go back. This is not a good thing, okay? Because they could have ordered a bunch of windows that were not the right size. I'm going to put this back to a 3, which is what it was, and this back to a 4, which is what it was. And so they're all fixed now. They're all the way they were before. All right. So here's the right way. I'm going to take just this window, right, the 36 by 48. I'm going to edit type. I'm going to clone it. I'm going to duplicate it. And this is where I can make my own sizes, whatever I want to do. I'm going to call this my initials, Mr. Brown, and then the size that it is. This is a 42 by 6. So you can make your own sizes, as many as you want. So now I'm working on the 42 by 66, and now I can change it. So I'm going to go 0 space 6. I'm going to make this this width a 42 and hit OK. Now you'll notice that this window got bigger, but these stayed the same. That's the desired effect. Let me just change this back to an 8-foot head there. So now, and you can create as many as you want. So now I've got all those fixed windows, but whoops, sorry. I have all those fixed windows, but now I also have my MB 42 by 66. So if the sizes aren't there, it's really no big deal. These are just sizes they give you just to help you out and kind of get you going. Sometimes they work, but usually you have to make your own sizes. And that's the way you do it. All the companies I've worked for and consulted for, they like to put their company acronym in front of the ones that they make. So if you work for HMC Architects, it would be an HMC in front of here. So for us, just put your initials in front. I think in the notes it might say SHS or something like that. Cool. All right. So now we have a proper duplicated window that didn't affect all the other ones in the project. Okay, so that's pretty much what I did on page 34 and 35, and I just did that really, really fast. So now if I go to the floor plan level 1, you'll notice that now this window, it's a brand new window that we created, has a completely different number that we just randomly assigned. So 26 is whatever, it doesn't matter what the number is. But these other two are still number 1s because they didn't change. Okay, so I'm on page 36, just showing you the pictures there on page 36 as you go along with me here. So it's really important that you don't do what we did the first time. Okay, let's see. I did talk about the tagging, just to show you a little trick here. If I let's say that I didn't have the tag button on, and some of you may have that when you're doing your windows. The tags may not be there. I'm going to right click, select all instances visible in view. I'm going to select all of the window tags and just hit delete. So all the window tags are gone. You didn't put them in, whatever. It's not a big deal. A little trick to get them back, you can go to annotate, tag all. Watch this. If I go to the, let's say, a window tag, and then just hit apply, there they are. So that's what I was saying. If you missed a door tag or a window tag, you can do a tag all and just hit them all right away. If you have some that are there and some that are not. Like maybe I have some door tags here and I don't have them over here. You can do the same thing. They don't go over the top of each other. Just tag all, do door tags here, hit apply, and OK, and boom, you're good to go. So again, if you forget them, it's no big deal. But I do want them in. Okay, so that's I'm on page 37. And okay, one little piece here. So I'm going to go a little trickery here. I would like you to put a little window in. Let's put a little tiny window, a little fixed window. Let's do the very smallest one, the 16 by 24. And let's make sure tag on placement is on, so it's blue. And put it like right around there somewhere. Right there. Okay, somewhere between the front door and this wall. Just like that. All right. So once you put that in, I'm gonna ask you, is the window there? And you're gonna go, yes, it is, because you can see it. If I go to the 3D view, I'm gonna ask you if the window's there. Let's just turn this around a little bit. And you're gonna say, it is. It's a little low, but it's certainly there, right? And if I go to let me close the east view and open up the south view. And I'm going to go to the front there, and I'm going to ask you if the window's there, and you can say, of course, yeah, you put it in, it's in all the views, right? In the south view, I'd like you to change the header, the head height to 9 feet, 9. And that's going to shoot that thing way up there. It's a 2-foot high window, which means that the sill height, that's the bottom. Have you ever heard of a windowsill? That's the bottom, yeah. That's 7, right? Do the math, right? 24 inches is 2 feet, the bottom is 7, and the top is 9. So there it is. Now, I'm going to ask you, is the window there? And you're going to go, well, of course, Mr. Brown, there it is. I'm going to go to the 3D view and ask you if the window's there, and you're going to go, well, yep, there it is, right there, boom, it's there. And I'm going to ask you to go to the floor plan level 1, and is the window there? And it's uh-oh. But is the window there is the question. So if you think about it, is the window there? And the answer is yes. We just saw it. We just can't see it here. And here's why. In Revit, what's happening with this floor plan, it's kind of a top view looking down. Picture a horizontal slice, like you had a big old saw blade and you were cutting, I don't know, maybe about your belly button or something like that, 4 feet, whatever that is, okay? And slicing the building horizontally and then looking down. That's what a floor plan is. Well, this window's way up higher than that. Let me show you what I mean by that. So if I come here and I go to Edit View Range, what's happening is we're cutting at 4 feet. And we're stopping at level 1 at the bottom, which makes sense, right, at the ground. And we're going up as high as 7'6". So yeah, we're cutting at 4 feet and looking down. We're not going to see a window that starts at 7 feet on the bottom. It's above us. So we can't see it. But we want to see it, and we can't see it. So it's kind of a problem. So one thing we could do is we could go to the view range and go, okay, well, what if we just cut this higher? What if we said, okay, what if this was 8 feet? Right? Remember, that window was at 7 and it ended at 9. Let's bring this up to 9 feet, kind of like that. Hit apply and OK, and then you'll notice you see the window. Boom, right? Because we're cutting through it. However, if you look at the rest of the view, so we have some problems with the graphics, right? We lost this window, we lost these two, we lost those two. We see a little bit here. It's kind of a mess, right? So that seems like a good idea, and it was a great idea for the window, but it really kind of messed up the rest of the view. Cutting at 8 feet is not a good answer. So let's go ahead and put it back. We'll put this back to 4. Oops, back to 4. And we'll put this back to 7'6". 7 spacebar 6. Hit apply. So we're kind of back to where we were, where we can't see the window. So the trick on this, I'm on page 38. It's called a plan region. What we're going to do is we're going to create a little area here that takes on that last rule we just did with the 8 feet cut and stuff. And it's going to go something like this. We're going to go to View, Plan View, and Plan Region. These are really helpful on stuff where you have like higher stuff out of the way. I'm going to come in with the rectangle tool and just make a rectangle kind of in the area where I know that window is. Don't worry if you go too big or too small, you'll be fine. And then I'm going to come over to the view range. Remember those numbers we just put in that worked? It was what, 9 feet here, and it was 8 feet here because we're cutting right through the middle. Hit apply, hit OK, and then we're going to go ahead and just hit green check to finish this little sketch right here. Green check. And you'll notice now we see the window, but all of the other stuff is good. Now, if I took that plan region and I stretched it, you see what's happening to the stuff that's inside it? That's what kind of happened before. So we don't want this stuff to be graphics where it cuts it at 8 feet. We just want it to be in our little area. So I'm going to take that and just kind of drag that back and drag that down. I usually like to keep this reasonably close to the element that I'm doing. If we were doing something like my classroom, we have windows going all the way across the wall, so this plan region would go all the way across the wall because we have windows up, really high up, all the way across. But for now, we'll take it just like that. Okay, and that's called a plan region. By the way, these don't print, so you don't have to worry about like them being on your drawing or anything. All right, I think that is fantastic. I think we're there. Let's see, let me just make sure. Okay, so that's Revit Demo 3. Now I've already saved it as Revit Demo 3, so I don't need to really do anything but just update it. So I'm just going to go over to the save command here, the little save, and just update it. And it's going to hug and chug. And we are done. So if you look at this from 3D view, we've got the little window up there at the top, that little clerestory window, and we've got our when I grade these, I'll be looking for the window that was changed properly with the correct size. That's not the same as these two. If this window is the same size as these two, that's a bad thing. Then I know you messed up. So you can fix it. I don't really care where these are set up. I don't really care which window, which wall, which door or which opening is where. It doesn't really matter as long as they're there. I would expect these doors to be equally spaced on the wall. Something like that. All right, and that is it for Revit Demo 3.